Whenever you're investing in property in Bali, I think it's very important that you understand your numbers first and foremost, and the top level revenue that you generate from your property is not your bottom line profit. Hi, I'm Ogie. I'm the developer behind this villa. We've been building villas here in Bali for the past 3.5 years. The kind of inspiration came from spending a lot of time traveling around Europe during COVID and living in a lot of beautiful properties. And whenever we arrived to Bali, myself and my business partner decided that we wanted to create something special ourselves. Canggu was getting very busy, and we've seen that Uluwatu was a very beautiful place and also an up-and-coming area within Bali. And really wanted to create a property and a villa project that was very special to this place. So yes, we utilize a lot of very modern architectural design. We have a kind of a stacked boxed geometric shape building, but we then look at combining that with a lot of natural materials to Indonesia. So we use a lot of Yulin hardwoods, we use natural marble tiles, a lot of teak woods. It was all about kind of combining and blending that contemporary modern design, but with natural and authentic materials to Indonesia. So whenever we created this villa, we wanted to ensure that we created something special for the market. Our ambition was always to have listings that will be within the top 10% of listings on Airbnb. And in order to achieve that, we decided to manage them ourselves and create an in-house management company to ensure the guest experience and also the delivery to our end customers was as high as we wanted it to be. A large part of that means we have in-house cleaning teams, we have in-house guest concierge, and we do a lot of direct marketing through our Instagram channels and website to generate direct bookings, which also help our end buyers to save on the fees that platforms like Airbnb and Booking.com charge. I think people underestimate the amount of maintenance that's required to upkeep a villa in a harsh tropical climate like Bali. We have scheduled maintenance structures on a monthly and half-yearly basis where we'll do re-waterproofing of any roof structures to ensure that coming into the rainy season, the properties are fully weather tight. And also in terms of general upkeep and gardening and pool maintenance, we ensure that all of our pump equipment is kept up to scratch, and also that our gardens are well maintained. So whenever guests arrive, they have a beautiful lush green garden, not lots of withering dead plants, which we see a lot, unfortunately, around the Bali property market. I think in particular for these 2 bedrooms, the actual architecture itself is very striking. In addition to that, I would say it's the size of the units. Whenever you get a 2-bedroom villa in Bali, often you're looking at a very small 100 to 120 square meter unit size. These buildings are 203 square meters and they're on a 230 square meter land plot, which is very large and luxurious for a 2-bedroom. And that's really what we were trying to create here, was a real space, a real sense of space and a sense of luxury within. Whenever you walk around this property, you can really feel that it's not just a compact small unit that's here for quick rental. It's a place that people can come and really live in. It's a place that feels like a home whenever you're here. And whenever you look around at all the materials that we've used, we wanted to make this space somewhere that people really enjoyed spending time, not just a place to rest their head at the end of the day. I think the market in Bali is continuing to evolve. And I think, as we've always said, if you're in that kind of top 10 to 15% of listings, you'll perform very well. But there's a lot of smaller unbranded projects which I think don't really put enough time and energy into the longevity of their project. And I think a lot of the middle of the market will struggle in the next 3 to 5 years as more modern new villas like this come to the market. So really standing out and having a strong brand and being able to position yourself as a market leader is the only way to thrive and survive in a very competitive market like the current Bali short-term rental space. If it's your first time building in Bali, I think some of the most important fundamentals that you need to understand is buying off a developer who is familiar with the market and has experience building properties here. Whenever you're buying off plan, renders often look amazing, but the material selection may not be sufficient versus the render images. So I think asking your developer or asking your agent what materials are they using, what floor tiles, what type of aluminium, what type of wood, etc. Because there's a massive difference in the specs of materials you can use. You can go with a very low-grade sanitary ware, or you can use something like a Tassian that we have here within all of our villas. So a lot of these things are very important, that it's hard to portray whenever you just see a render image, but really understanding the reputation of the developer, the location of the project, and the materials that they're actually using to complete that villa. So for this unit, it's a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom property. We have a large open plan outdoor space with an outdoor dining area, a sunken lounge area beside the pool, and then we have a large pool with these beautiful white marble tiles. We also have an outdoor shower with a limestone feature wall just to kind of make it really stand out, and also to be a very aesthetic place for taking photos. Something else for the exterior of this property was really wanted to give it that tropical feel. So we have a lot of green plantation that surrounds all the way around the exterior of the building, and it really makes it feel like a private haven once you're inside. I think the experience that guests get whenever they come and stay, and the feedback of whenever people walk inside and they really get to feel this space for themselves, it's a really special building in my opinion, and we put a lot of time and energy into just creating something that felt more like a home. And I think, for me, it's more about the feeling than any specific element. I think I've really loved the way the materials have all came together and how the actual design fits in practice with the natural environment around it. I think whenever you create a render, it's often very hard to bring that to life. And I think what we've done here, I believe personally, we've exceeded our expectations in terms of the finished product being beyond what we ever imagined whenever we initially got the render images done. I think one of the biggest benefits of the Bali property market is the full year-round demand. So most markets have a 3 to 6 month summer season, and then they have a very slow winter season. Bali has pretty strong 12-month demand, which makes it a very attractive market from an investment standpoint. I think in addition to the high occupancies throughout the year, there's also very healthy nightly rates. So people are charging premium prices to come and stay in premium villas. But again, not all villas. I think you'll see there's a lot of discrepancy in prices. You can get cheap available properties in Bali, but you also can get very high-end luxury properties. If you are investing in a property, I think you need to make sure that it's a really well-finished property that's very aesthetic, but also very well marketed. I think having amazing Airbnb listings, having really good management, and ensuring that your guest experience is at the level that you want it to be for the price you're planning to charge. Then if you can tick all of those boxes, I think Bali is one of the best markets globally for longer term investment yields. And even using the leasehold structure, you can generate your initial investment back in anywhere from kind of 6 to 7 years, which I think is very, very healthy returns versus any other global. Whenever you're investing in property in Bali, I think it's very important that you understand your numbers first and foremost, and the top level revenue that you generate from your property is not your bottom line profit. A lot of developers, I think, will fabricate and tell you a 25% ROI guaranteed. This is very unrealistic. You have to run and operate a property, and therefore things like PB1 tax of 10%, things like management commission of 15%, and then general operational expenses, the cost of staffing for cleaning, the cost of Wi-Fi, electricity, all of these things add up, and there is costs associated with running a property in this market. That being said, these units are generating net about $5,000 to $5,500 per month after all expenses and taxes are paid. And we're looking at a realistic net ROI of between 15 to 16% yearly, which I think is very strong in still a developing market. It's not 25%, but that's not realistic. So we've done all the forecasts, we manage the properties ourselves. We can see the costs that are associated with managing them, and even with all those costs associated, you're still going to net out about a 15% net ROI in your bank account, which I think is a very, very healthy return for a passive income investment in a Bali market where you can also come and enjoy it on your holidays, which I think is a big additional perk of having a property here in Bali. You can reach out and contact the agent, and they'll be happy to talk you through the whole process of purchasing this villa.